The movie opens in 1995 London. Eleanor Young arrives at a grand, prestigious hotel with her children in tow, soaking wet from the rain. Despite having a reservation, the front desk staff, clearly making assumptions based on her appearance, refused to honor it, treating her with barely concealed contempt and discrimination. Eleanor, composed and dignified, asks to use their phone, but gets rejected. She steps outside and makes a quiet phone call. Moments later, the hotel manager comes rushing out, flustered and apologetic. It turns out Eleanor has just purchased the entire hotel. The family that was turned away now owns the building. Eleanor leads her family through the grand lobby quietly. The staff who dismissed her are left stunned and humiliated as Eleanor and her family are ushered in, now as the owners. We're introduced to Rachel Chu. She's in the middle of a game theory lesson, using a poker demonstration to illustrate her point, outsmarting her student in the process and winning with her instinct in a lecture hall at New York University, where she's a professor of economics. She's explaining and reminding her students not to forget their assignment, while Nick walks in. Then Rachel and her boyfriend Nick Young have dessert later that evening. They're warm and natural together, and also deeply in love. Nick then brings up what seems like a simple invitation. Would Rachel come with him to Singapore for the summer? His best friend Colin is getting married, and he is his best man, and Nick wants her by his side, also to meet the Young family. Then Rachel said her friend from college has been inviting her to Singapore, but hadn't really given it a thought, then agreed to go with him with a kiss. And that was the beginning of everything. Nick and Rachel arrive at the airport in a taxi. A flight attendant rushes to greet them by their names, then asks them to follow her to first class. Rachel is hesitant because she's never been in first class, but Nick assures her everything will be fine, and they follow the flight attendant. As they board the plane, the flight attendant welcomes them on board and offers to lead them to their private suite. Rachel is surprised, and before she knows it, she's offered champagne and is led to their room, where she just stands there in shock. Then Nick reveals that his family has a business with the airport, like real estate, as Rachel keeps asking questions because she doesn't know what she's getting into. Nick continues revealing about his family. One cousin is in Taiwan and the other in Hong Kong. Then his last cousin Astrid, she's awesome and the one more closer to Nick than the rest of the cousins. And there in Shanghai is Astrid. She has multi-charities and she's a fashion icon. Astrid has the biggest heart of every Nick cousin. She here to buy some rare pigeon blood red rubies, and the cost was $1.2 million. Nick and Rachel just landed, and in there awaiting Collins and Araminta. Collins came to welcome his best man properly, and they ride through the city of Singapore. And later in the evening, they head to a Singapore street food market and have fun for the rest of the evening. Then, when Astrid gets home, she quickly tells her maid to keep away the jewelry she bought, and they quickly hide them everywhere around the house. Then she keeps the most valuable one in her mirror top. Then we see Rachel arrive at a massive gate, and it opens, wearing red. In there is her college friend Paiklin, and they rush to hug each other. Then Paiklin's mother comes outside to greet her, then invites her in. They're so excited meeting each other again. Then Paiklin's mom begins showing off her place, and Rachel compliments her. Then dinner is prepared, and as they are about to eat, Paiklin's uncle thanks Rachel for helping Lynn during college and insults Paiklin for wasting her life in college while Rachel became an economics professor. Then tries introducing Rachel to his son, but Paik cuts him off, saying she has a boyfriend. And he asks Rachel, "Who's your boyfriend?" Then Rachel reveals she's dating Nick Young, and everyone froze because Rachel is invited to Colin Khoo's wedding. Turns out the Youngs are the most biggest developers in all of Singapore and Malaysia, Thailand, Brunei, New Mexico. Then Paik cuts him off again. Then she explained the Youngs are like royalty. Rachel is shocked because she doesn't know all of this. Then Paiklin takes Rachel to the closet to change her clothes because they're going to meet Nick's family tonight. While telling Rachel about Nick's family history, she's giving her a set of new clothes. As they head on the road to Nick's house, Paik drives recklessly on the road while Rachel thanks her for driving. Then they arrived at the location Nick gave Rachel, but it's in the middle of nowhere, before someone appears at the car window, and Paik was shocked. Then they wait before the guard allows Rachel and Paik in. As they drive through the estate, they look amazing because it's spectacular. When they arrive, Nick comes outside and welcomes Rachel before kissing her, leaving Paik. Then Paik calls Rachel, and Rachel introduces Paik to Nick, and he invites her for dinner before rushing out of the car, and they go inside. Then Nick shows Paik the bathroom where she can change, as Nick tells Rachel how he grew up here, while walking Rachel to the kitchen to meet his mother. Eleanor, Nick's mother, walks through the kitchen inspecting her kitchen while the cookers cook. Nick and Rachel walk in. Eleanor stops and walks towards Nick. It has been long since Nick comes home. He introduces Rachel to Eleanor, his mom, as Rachel hugs her. Then, Eleanor starts asking Rachel about her parents. And Rachel tells Eleanor her father died before she was born, and her mom didn't go to college, but she worked so hard to take care of her and herself. Then, as Nick and Rachel get to the gathering, he introduces Rachel to his mother's friends, and they are so excited to see Nick having a girlfriend. Then we see Astrid and her husband Michael having a brief conversation before Michael walks to go get a spoon. Then Astrid finds out Michael is having an affair. Rachel mistakenly splashes her wine on Nick's shirt. Then Nick gives Rachel to Oliver so he can look after Rachel while he's gone. Then Paik rush in, and they went outside as they walk through the venue. Oliver talked non-stop. Rachel observed everyone is staring at her. Then Oliver assured her they're just jealous of her because Nick brought her home. As they enter the blooming flower room, Nick's grandmother is then brought out. Nick introduces Rachel to her, and she was very pleased to see Rachel. The Bachelor Paradise arrived. Everywhere is crowded with people. Then Colin's sister rushes to meet Rachel, and she takes her away from Nick as they are in a Bachelor Paradise. Then Nick and Colin waited for Bernard, Nick's cousin, who organized the Bachelor Paradise. As they fly through the international water with 3 helicopters, Bernard brags about how he runs the streets of Singapore, and Colin asks, "Where are we going?" And he reveals a cargo ship. As they come out, the party is fed with people, and Bernard cheers. Then evening falls, Bernard firing bazooka while the other young family sits in a circle, some Nick cousins trying to get him angry about Rachel. Then Colin holds him back, and they walk away. At the Samsara Island, Rachel and Amanda talk about their differences. On the other hand, Nick and Colin are seen in Rawa Island chilling in the middle of the river, and Nick shows Colin an engagement ring. Turns out, Nick wants to engage Rachel, and they laugh together, while Rachel and Amanda are having a massage. As Colin talks about Rachel to Nick, Amanda talks to Rachel about Nick, and she reveals she dated Nick. Then Rachel walks away from Amanda. She hears other girls criticizing her. On her way to the room, she bumps into Astrid. They both went to Rachel's room, then discover a dead fish on Rachel's bed. That makes Rachel so furious, but Astrid calms her down. Then they buried the fish at the beach. Astrid and Rachel sat at the beach. Astrid reveals Michael is having an affair as she cries. Then she lays on Rachel's shoulder without saying a word. In the morning, as Nick arrives at Rachel's hotel room, Rachel is angry and sad for why Nick never tells her anything about his family, and now everyone thinks she's the evil one who doesn't allow Nick to come home last year. Nick apologized for not telling her about his family, and they reconciled. Nick then invited Rachel to go make dumplings, as Nick teaches Rachel how to make dumplings. Eleanor walks in and joins them at the table, and she said if we don't pass the dumpling traditional way like this, it will disappear. Then Rachel compliments Eleanor's ring. Eleanor talks about how she helps her husband run business before Grandma walks in. Everyone rushes to greet Grandma. She looks at Rachel, and she compliments Rachel's face. Eleanor becomes bothered about Grandma's compliment to Rachel. Rachel went to use the restroom. As Eleanor follows, she revealed she wasn't Nick's father's first or second choice, but she never gave up on him. And now she tells Rachel she's not enough for Nick, as Rachel stands there motionless. The wedding day arrives. Rachel gets to choose her clothes by Paiklin and Oliver. As they start picking Rachel's dress for the perfect fit, Paiklin family dance for fun while Rachel changes. Cut to the wedding. Rachel arrives wearing a stunning dress. Then Oliver introduces Rachel to everyone, and she walks through with confidence. Photography takes her pictures. She meets Amanda on her way inside the church, then says, "You're in my way," as she walks in. Astrid and Michael drive to the wedding. Then Michael tells Astrid about his upcoming business trip after Colin's wedding. Astrid reminded Michael it's their daughter's birthday. Michael clearly says business is more important at the moment. Astrid reveals she knows about his affairs. That's why he wants to travel. Then Michael gets angry and gets out of the car, while Astrid cries. Back to the wedding, Eleanor and her friends walk through the church. As they're about to head in the wedding venue, Rachel walks in on them. Quietly, she greets them, but Eleanor clearly tells her, "There's no place for you here," as she walks in with her friends. The last one compliments her outfit lightly, then walks away. Rachel spots Princess Intan sitting at the front of the wedding. She walks over to introduce herself. Rachel talks about her article and how she helped the women economically and introduces each other properly. Then Astrid and Grandma arrive as the wedding is about to begin. Colin the groom, Nick the best man, and others walk out slowly to the stage. The live music begins. Nick and Rachel stare at each other with love as the music continues. 3 beautiful kids walk through the venue, throwing flowers across the venue. Then the place goes quiet, before water starts flowing the venue as everyone watches with satisfaction. The bride starts walking through the floored venue, looks beautiful and charming. Colin gasping for air. Nick and Rachel continue staring at each other, whispering, "I love you," to each other, as they're deeply in love. Then Rachel cries while staring at Nick. Eleanor watches Rachel as Colin kisses his beautiful wife. The wedding night, as everyone is having fun, Colin and his wife dance, while Nick and Rachel dance beside each other, feeling the moment, then kiss. Before Grandma's maid calls Nick and Rachel, and they follow. Grandma sits, and Eleanor stands beside her, while Nick and Rachel walk in. Eleanor reveals Rachel has been lying about her parents. Her father never died. Eleanor gave Nick the documents containing Rachel's family background. Rachel cries and starts walking away from the party, while Nick runs chasing her behind, but never finds Rachel. Rachel gets home, sad and exhausted. She went to her room and stayed in bed for days, without food or picking anyone's calls. Rachel's mother flies from New York to Singapore to console her, and then tells Rachel the truth about her father. Then they reconcile while laying on the bed. Rachel's mom reveals Nick told her what happened. That's why she's here. Eleanor walks through the streets of Singapore, then enters a mahjong store where she finds Rachel. She approaches her before sitting down. Rachel assures her not to worry about the elderly ladies because they are deaf. Eleanor sits as the game begins. Rachel tells Eleanor how her mom taught her mahjong. As the tiles move across the table, Rachel reveals that she turned down Nick's proposal because she didn't want to destroy his relationship with his family. The game becomes a metaphor for sacrifice. Rachel proves she possesses the very values Eleanor claimed she lacked. Rachel decides to leave Singapore. She refuses to be the reason for Nick losing his family. Rachel uploads her bags to the car. Paik Lin helps Rachel carry her other bag, then gives Rachel a hug. For the first time, Rachel chooses heartbreaking choice and dignity over fantasy. Rachel and her mom aboard the flight. Nick appears with a surprise, just when all hope seems lost. This time, he's choosing Rachel openly and completely. As he proposes with his grandma's ring, Rachel's tears. The gesture is about love, after everything they've endured, and the moment feels earned. The movie ends with a stunning rooftop celebration overlooking Singapore's skyline. New beginnings emerge. Rachel is no longer an outsider. As music fills the air and the city sparkles beneath them, the movie ends where it always belonged, but with love, acceptance, and family. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.